Olúkálùkù jẹ́jẹ́ ewúrẹ́, ewúrẹ́, ewúrẹ́. Olúkálùkù jẹ́jẹ́ àgùntàn, àgùntàn bọ̀lọ́jọ́. Olurounbi jẹ́jẹ́ ọmọ rẹ̀ àkọ́bí epo. Olurounbi o jọ̀ìnjọ̀, ìrókò jọ̀ìnjọ̀. Olúkálùkù jẹ́jẹ́ ewúrẹ́, ewúrẹ́, ewúrẹ́. Olúkálùkù jẹ́jẹ́ àgùntàn, àgùntàn bọ̀lọ́jọ́. Olurounbi jẹ́jẹ́ ọmọ rẹ̀ àkọ́bí epo. Olurounbi o jọ̀ìnjọ̀.
Hello. Don't say hello. Say hello. I am the one that will say hello. You are the ones that will say what? Hello. Hello means story. In Nigeria, when we're about to tell stories like this to children, it's either I say hello, and you will say hello, or I will say, and you will say story. Once upon a time. Let's go over it again. Hello. Story. Once upon a time. You are getting the hang of it. Let's go again. Hello. If you say hello, you are out of the game. When I say hello, you will say hello. You will say what? Hello. 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 Story. Once upon a time. Before we go into the story of the day, let me just give you a tip of the iceberg, a taste of the kind of stories we used to tell in Nigeria. Who amongst you has been to Nigeria? Oh, you've been to Nigeria? Good. Have you ever had any stories by the moonlight? You did? MashaAllah. Can you tell us one of the stories you heard? It's about... Who amongst you knows what is called Ijapa? Ijapa. What is Ijapa? Come and say it to the microphone. Come and say it to the microphone. Your Yoruba is bigger than mine.
Ọ̀fẹ́fẹ́ apádànù.
Ọ̀fẹ́fẹ́ apádànù. Ní Ìjàpá. Ẹ pàtẹ́wọ́ fún. Ẹ pàtẹ́wọ́ fọ́mọ náà. Ọ̀fẹ́fẹ́ apádànù. That's a good try, but that's not what Ijapa is. Who knows that animal that walks very, very slowly, but is very cunning and very smart? You know it? Come and tell us. Come and say it into the microphone. That animal, it goes slowly.
Because it went faster, then it went slowly.
It went faster, then it went slowly. What is the name of the animal?
Triceratops.
You go.
Triceratops.
Ṣé mọ tó ń jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀? Eh? Oh, dinosaur! Dinosaurs are pretty fast. They're big and they're fast. That is not the answer. Yeah, you come and tell us. Thank you, honey. You did a good job.
Tortoise.
Ijapa is tortoise. You know how tortoise is? Very slow. It goes majestically. And it can take 100 years to get to where it is going, but it never stops. It keeps going and going and going till it gets there. Lọ́jọ́ tí mo bá kú o, ọmọládé o, ọba lókè jẹ́ kọ́mọ rẹ̀ wò lédè nítorí ọmọ láṣọ láyé ọmọ. Ẹ jẹ́ ká jó ọmọ láṣọ láyé ọmọ láṣọ. Nítorí ọmọ láṣọ láyé ọmọ láṣọ. Ọmọ láṣọ láyé ọmọ láṣọ. Do you know the song? Even if you don't know it, let's get up and dance. Are we ready? Olúkálùkù jẹ́jẹ́ ewúrẹ́, ewúrẹ́, ewúrẹ́. Olúkálùkù jẹ́jẹ́ àgùntàn, àgùntàn bọ́lọ́jọ́. Olúròǹbí jẹ́jẹ́ ọmọ rẹ̀, ọmọ rẹ̀ àkọ́bí epo. Olúròǹbí yóò join join, ìrókò join join. Olúkálùkù jẹ́jẹ́ ewúrẹ́, ewúrẹ́, ewúrẹ́. Olúkálùkù jẹ́jẹ́ àgùntàn, àgùntàn bọ́lọ́jọ́. Olúròǹbí jẹ́jẹ́ ọmọ rẹ̀ àkọ́bí epo. Olúròǹbí yóò join join, ìrókò join join. Olúròǹbí yóò join join, ìrókò join join. Why are you all doing like this now? Yeah? You don't know how to dance? Not even for a gift? To my song?
Okay, you can sit down and clap. Sit down, sit down.
Olúròǹbí jẹ́jẹ́ ewúrẹ́, ewúrẹ́, ewúrẹ́. Olúkálùkù jẹ́jẹ́ àgùntàn, àgùntàn bọ́lọ́jọ́. Olúròǹbí jẹ́jẹ́ ọmọ rẹ̀ àkọ́bí epo. Olúròǹbí yóò join join, ìrókò join join. Olúkálùkù jẹ́jẹ́ ewúrẹ́, ewúrẹ́, ewúrẹ́. Olúkálùkù jẹ́jẹ́ àgùntàn, àgùntàn bọ́lọ́jọ́. Olúròǹbí jẹ́jẹ́ ọmọ rẹ̀ àkọ́bí epo. Olúròǹbí yóò join join, ìrókò join join. Olúròǹbí yóò join join, ìrókò join join. Olúròǹbí yóò join join, ìrókò join join. Ohun tó bá dára máa rà fọ́mọ mi. Ohun tó bá dára kó rà fọ́mọ rẹ̀. Ohun tó bá dára máa rà fọ́mọ mi o. Ohun tó bá dára kó rà fọ́mọ rẹ̀. Tí n bá lógún ẹrú, tí yàwó fà ọgbọ̀n. Tí n bá lógún ẹrú sẹ́, tí yàwó fà ọgbọ̀n. Lọ́jọ́ tí mo bá kú o, ọmọ ládélé. Ọba lókè jẹ́ kọ́mọ rẹ̀ wọlé tèmi nítorí ọmọ láṣọ. Ọmọ láṣọ, ọmọ láṣọ, láyé ọmọ láṣọ. Nítorí ọmọ láṣọ, láyé ọmọ láṣọ. Ọmọ láṣọ, láyé ọmọ láṣọ. Ọdún bá dé máa dáṣọ fọ́ọ̀mù mi ò kọ́ mú ṣoge. Sí bèbè dúró, kò mú ṣoge. Ọdún bá dé máa dáṣọ fọ́ọ̀mù mi kò mú ṣoge. Sí bèbè dúró, kò mú ṣoge. Pàtẹ́wọ́ fúnra yín. Pàtẹ́wọ́ means clap for yourselves and clap for me too. God bless you all. Ẹ ṣé o ẹ̀yin ìyá wa, ẹ ṣé o ẹ̀yin sísá wa, ẹ ṣé o ọlọ́wọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀.
Mama, you smile.
Àwọn yòókù nǹkan.
Olúkálùkù jẹ́jẹ́ ewúrẹ́ 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 olúkálùkù jẹ́jẹ́ àgùntàn àgùntàn bọ̀lọ́jọ́ olúròǹbí jẹ́jẹ́ ọmọ rẹ̀ àkànbí epo olúròǹbí ò jọyìnjọ ìrókò jọyìnjọ olúkálùkù jẹ́jẹ́ ewúrẹ́ 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 olúkálùkù jẹ́jẹ́ àgùntàn bọ̀lọ́jọ́ olúròǹbí jẹ́jẹ́ ọmọ rẹ̀ àkànbí epo olúròǹbí ò jọyìnjọ ìrókò jọyìnjọ. lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí àlọ́ lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí àlọ́ mílírí fún gbàgbọ́. A woman and her husband. This woman and her husband, they love each other very much. Wọ́n nífẹ̀ẹ́ ara wọn púpọ̀ púpọ̀. Ó wá di ní ọjọ́ kan nígbà tí wọ́n ti wà tipẹ́tipẹ́. They have been married for so many 30 years. Do you know how many days we have in 1 year? You can tell me how many days we have in 1 year? 365 days. Okay, so if I say our own year is different from that of 30's year, do you know why? By the way, who can tell me how many days we make 130's year? Tamo, go on. You know, because tortoises can live for very many years. They live longer than us humans. As a matter of fact, the oldest tortoise in the world is in Nigeria.
What?
Yes. Do you know that? Yes. The oldest living tortoise right now is in Nigeria. And he is a royal tortoise. Why? Because he lives in the king's palace. And you know what king I'm talking about? King Showu of Ogbomoso. Ogbomoso is where I came from. And this tortoise, can you guess how many years? How old he is? 24? No, you didn't get it? How many years? 100. You are close, but you are not there yet. Who else can guess? He's way older than 100. 200. He's more. He's older than that. What did you say? You jumped the bar. He's not up to 400. It's 300 plus. 300 years and still counting. Because he is that old. You know what everybody in the palace calls him? They call him Alagba. Who knows the meaning of Alagba?
I know it.
What is Alagba? Whenever you say you know it, I know you're going to look at the sky and see if it's going to be written in the sky. You can tell me the meaning of Alagba. Eh? The sky is Alagba. We try. What is Alagba? Elderly person. Avayini.
Stand up. Okay, that's...
MashaAllah. An elderly person is called Alagba. So you're going to get a gift for that. Sit down. Brilliant. That's wonderful. You see, that's what I'm saying. Because you are in America, don't forget your Yoruba. Yoruba is very, very beautiful and very rich. So, Alagba is 300 years plus. So, we are talking about something that happened in many, many 30 years ago. There was this man and his wife. His wife's name is Olurounbi. What is the husband's name? Oh, Ayo. Who knows the meaning of Ayo? Say it again. Happiness. Who said joy?
Both are right.
Both of you are correct. So, Ayo, the husband of Olurounbi, and for so many years they did not have a child. Then people in that village used to go to one tree called Igi Iroko, and they used to beg that tree to give them anything they wanted, because there is something living inside of that tree. So, Ayo and Olurounbi, that love each other so much, that also want to have children of their own. They hear that people go to this Iroko tree to ask for what they want. They decided to go to the Iroko tree and ask for a child. When they got to the Iroko tree, something fantastic happened. Something what? Fantastic happened. You want to know what happened? You really want to know what happened? Where is that now? You see this? You see this poster? It is about the olurounbi's promise. This is the book that tells you the full story of Olurounbi and her husband Ayo and the child they never had. But they went to the Iroko tree with the hope that the Iroko tree would be able to give them a child. Do you think they got a child?
Yes.
You think so? I would suggest that she does. Oh, you're so smart. But something happened after they got the child. It is most unbelievable.
What?
Who? The child disappeared. You are very creative. In fact, I think we will write another book, another story book that will follow that line. But the child did not disappear. But you really want to know what happened? You really want to know what happened? Then you will have to get this book, Olurounbi's Promise. Get the book? I'm going to tell you, another day we're going to have a meeting like this. By that time, we would have all bought the book, we will open it, and we'll start reading from it. How is that? Yes.
So your parents have to buy it.
So, you see, the book has, yeah, he's up there.
My dad is right there.
He's right there. Ah. MashaAllah.
He's smart.
Problem is solved. You see, the book is not only the story that you see in it, you will see the pictures as well. It is illustrated with pictures. And I know that you children, you love to read and look at the pictures as well. And the no, it is not just writing. Now, the one that wrote the book, who can tell me the person that wrote the book? Elijah Sherry. Who is Elijah Sherry here? Alhaja Sherifat Aduki Akurede, who, by the way, is a princess. For real. You doubting me? Wait till you read the book. All the questions you want to know, you will find it in this book.
You
That is why the tree is talking. When you read the book, you will get to know whether the tree talked or not. Smiley face eye. Okay, let us get the book, and then when we all get the book, we'll come together one day and read it together. Is that a deal?
Yes.
So, the book is written by Princess Alhaja Sherifat Akorede.
Princess?
Yes. You remember what I said about Ogbomosho? In Ogbomosho, there are 5 ruling houses that produce the king for that town. And our family's house is one of the 5 ruling houses. That is why she's a princess and I'm also a princess. Yes. And I'm a princess too. One day, we all go to Nigeria on a field trip and you will see our palace. Inshallah. Say inshallah. Yeah, by God's grace. So, Princess Alhaja Sherifat Akorede wrote the book, and the illustration was done by Sukomi Akimboye. Sukomi Akimboye. Beautiful pictures illustrated. They look like, you know, the comic books that you read. Who loves comics here?
Better than that.
Yes. Like comics for real, they really the characters come alive, you know, better than comics. So I pray that when the book is out, you will all get copies, and then we'll come together one day like this, and we'll all read the stories together. Okay? So before we call it a day on the show, and you know when we call it a day, we're going to go to that table and enjoy. Yes, now. Food that is yummy. Are you looking for that food? Are you looking at the table? Before we do that, let us hear from the author, my beloved sister, Alhaja Sherifat Adukiade Olashuribomi Akorede aya wọn nílùú Ìlọrin, aya Ọláìtàn. Ẹ pàtẹ́wọ́ fájàṣẹ̀rí. Now let's listen to her as she tells us 1 or 2 things about the book.
Thank you, guys. The reason why, does anybody want to know why I wrote the book Olurounbi? Yes. Go ahead. Do you want to know why? Okay. So, I grew up in Nigeria, as a lot of your mothers and parents and grandparents. And in Nigeria, we used to listen to stories, folk tales, just like you guys know some stories about America. So, who can tell me their favorite fairy tale story? What's yours? Yes. What's your favorite folk tale story? What's your favorite story? Say that again. A mouse who turned to a prince. Good. What's yours? What's your best story? Cinderella? Huh? Cinderella. Who knows about Snow White? Good. Very good. Who knows about Robin Hood and the Red Robin Hood? Who knows about Sleeping Beauty? Who knows about Rapunzel? Very good. You all know about all these stories are Western stories. Which of the Nigerian stories do you guys know? Tell me. Do you know the story of Ijapa, turtles? Okay, we have a few people who just came not too long ago from Nigeria, a couple of years ago. So what I'm trying to do is the things that we grew up on, I want to share with the world, with the Western world. So you understand? We want you guys to know the stories that we grew up on, that we, learn from. All these stories, they have moral stories, moral lessons there. They used to tell us at the end of the story, they will say, what did you learn from the story? What is the moral of the story? So we have so many stories that are fantastic stories that help us, to shape us, to be good people. And it's part of our heritage. And my intention is to share this heritage with our children in the United States and back in Nigeria as well. Most of them don't know a lot of these stories. So I've written about 7 of these stories, but olurounbi is the first one that is coming out. And hopefully this would, be shared all over the world. So that's the intention, is for you guys to know the African stories as well as the American, British, Western stories. Okay, so hopefully you guys will enjoy it and learn from it. So this is why when I wrote it, I completed it. I paid an illustrator, and the illustrator, we finished everything, we were ready to print it. But the American audience, they wanted to know more because they don't know Nigeria, they don't know our culture, they didn't understand a lot of what went on there. So I had to write the book. It is now so my text was only 32 pages because it was supposed to be for, younger adults and younger children and with illustration. So guess what? The book has turned into a 200 pages book. Yes. I had to rewrite it. So the first one now is just used like as a draft. Okay. So this is why the book has not been released, because it's just really expanded, and that would make it more enjoyable. Those of you who are growing up in the United States, you don't know what goes on in the forest areas, you don't know a lot about the food, and the contextual information is why the book has expanded to really a very interesting journey, and I hope you will all enjoy it. Also, the book is going to be in 3 parts. So this is part 1, and it's really interesting, and I'm enjoying the journey as the story is just unfolding as I'm creating it. I'm really enjoying it, and I hope you guys will all enjoy it. So it's for parents and children, so that we can continue to, keep our culture alive, the tradition and culture, to keep it alive, and goes to the next generation, and so on and so forth. So thank you guys for coming. I hope you enjoyed my sister's narration. So she tried to shorten it so that you guys can get, the main theme of the story. But when you buy it, your parents will read it to those of you who cannot read, and those of you who can read, you can read it and enjoy it. Okay, thank you.
Okay, now it's time to you can eat and listen to story. Do you know somebody called Johnny Loco? Johnny Loco. Johnny Loco is a boy that didn't listen to his parents. But the story of Johnny Loco will come at another day. Let me tell you one story of Ìjàpá. Ìjàpá tìrókò ọ̀kan Yáníbo. Ẹyin tortoise náà ni wọ́n ń pè ní Ìjàpá. Come and tell us, God bless you. Story about tortoise. Before you start, you say, hello, and everybody will say, hello. Oh yeah, over to you. What is your name? Maruzuk. Maruzuk what? Salahuddin. Maruzuk. Good. Oh yeah, up hello. Hello.
Good job.
Hello.
Turtles and dog and her. Once upon a time, there was. Once upon a time, there lived a tortoise that in his farm there has many yams. So one day he called his friend here to cook some yams. So one day he stole some and hid it. Where he's supposed to hid it is Fox farm. So
you tried for even standing up. Let's share him.
In his farm. So everything in his farm was growing, and he planted this particular kind of green vegetables. Who likes spinach here? Spinach. Good. Spinach. You like it? It's very healthy. Okay. Who like what is this one called? You used to laugh at me. I didn't know it was broccoli. And there was another thing the man was planting. Oh, what is that thing called? Oh, he looks long like this, and it is green. No, it is not leaf. It is no, it is not like peas.
Take it round.
Alligator? Alligator is a green vegetable. No. This one is called cucumber. You know what cucumber is? How do you call cucumber in American language? Cucumber! When I first came, I used to call it cucumber, and everybody used to laugh at me. But they later told me that it is called cucumber. So this farmer planted all these green vegetables in his farm, and his plan was to go. Oh, sorry. Oh yeah, good job. Are you listening to my story?
Yes.
So this man's plan was to go and sell the cucumber at the market, and the spinach, and the celery, and the broccoli. But in the night, guess what happens in the night? Somebody will sneak into the farm in the night when everybody is sleeping and started stealing the green vegetables that this man worked so hard to grow. This man saw that his vegetables are reducing. He will say tomorrow I will come and harvest this green. But by the time he gets there, somebody has gotten there to harvest them. He said, okay, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to watch overnight at my farm. Everybody's mouth is working and their hands are working. Are your ears working too? Can you hear my story? Okay. So the man started going to lay ambush in his bush at night, and he will be waiting for the thief to come.
Where's your brother?
So Tortoise noticed that the farmer was laying ambush in his bush, and he stopped going in the night. He did what? He stopped going to the farm in the night. But when he ran out of broccoli and cucumber and celery, the one that he stole, he had finished it. He and his family were hungry, so he wanted to go and steal some more from the farm. Do you know what Mr. Tortoise did? Have you ever seen masquerade before? Do you know masquerade? What do we call masquerade in Yoruba? Oh, Ojuju, do you all know Ojuju? Ojuju is masquerade. Ojuju is Egu. Egu. Monster. Who said monster?
Me.
You get a prize. So, Tortoise decided to dress like a monster. And he put all kinds of scary stuff on himself. And he went into the farm in the afternoon when the man was there working on his farm. He said, I am trying to remember this song. Which means the masquerade has come, the Ojuju has come, the monster has come. Whoever is in the bushes, run away! And the man became very, very scared. And he ran away. But he sounded like a lion. Anyway, so Tortoise will steal and steal and steal, and he will run away. And when the man comes back, he says, what kind of monster is this that is stealing from my farm? God, you have to catch this monster for me. Oh. After a few days, the monster will come again. Anybody in the farm? If you don't run away, I will hit you. The man will pick race and run away again. Then one day, the man said, you know what? If this monster is going to kill me, I will see who can kill each other today. I cannot be running away from my farm. I am going to wait and see what this monster is going to do. But what I'm going to do, I will really show this monster. So the man decided to hide inside the bush where the vegetables where Tortoise loved the most, that he was stealing the most, where they were. So he hid inside the bush of the vegetables with a very sharp cutlass. Do you know what a cutlass is?
A knife.
Yes, a big knife.
You mean like those pistols?
So he was hiding there. He was hiding there. Then the monster came again. Anybody in the fire should go. I will eat you alive.
You mean I'll eat you alive, not alive?
Alive. So the man just stayed there. He didn't run. Then Tortoise looked and looked. He didn't see anybody running. Then he started laughing. The man is a foolish man. He didn't even come today. Let me start taking all these vegetables. As he brought out his hand. Are you listening? As he brought out his hand to start cutting the vegetables, the man just put the knife and cut the hand of the tortoise. And he started, the man said, today, so it is you, Mr. Tortoise, that's been stealing my stuff. I will take you to the king's house today. I said, please don't take me to the king's house. He said, no way. I will take you to the king's house, to the king's palace. And you know, in that village, anybody that steals, they will kill the person. Anybody that steals, they will do what to the person? They will kill the person. So Tortoise started singing.
Did you kill that with knife?
Knife or so. So, you know, this, let's say this is his hand. Look at my hand. You see? Half of the hand was gone. So he started singing. All of you will be saying mule. Tortoise now. You don't know. In the story village, anything can happen. Just like in your cartoon. Don't you see animals talk in the cartoon? You don't see animals talk in the cartoon.
I just see animals talk
So why did you ask, well, how can the cartoon animals talk? Oh yeah, sing with me. You'll be saying, Pemule. Kilemawi. Pemule. Get ready. Oh yeah. Ẹ̀fọ́ pẹ́múlẹ̀, ẹ̀fọ́ pẹ́múlẹ̀, ẹ̀fọ́ pẹ́múlẹ̀. Mi ò gbọ́ yín, ẹ kọrin. Ẹ̀fọ́ pẹ́múlẹ̀, ẹ̀fọ́ pẹ́múlẹ̀. Wọ́n gé mi lápá oyèwú. Apá mi náà màrè, apá mi náà màrè. Ẹ̀fọ́ pẹ́múlẹ̀. Àwọn ọmọ yìí kàn mú díríǹkì ni o. Wọn ò bá mi kọrin o. Pẹ́mú ẹ̀fọ́ pẹ́múlẹ̀, ẹ̀fọ́ pẹ́múlẹ̀. Ẹni tí kò bá kọrin, màá gba díríǹkì rẹ̀ o. Ẹ̀fọ́ pẹ́múlẹ̀, ẹ̀fọ́ pẹ́múlẹ̀. Wọ́n gé mi lápò ewu. Apá mi náà màrè. Everybody do your hand like this. Do it like my own. Roll it like this. Ẹ̀fọ́ pẹ́múlẹ̀, ẹ̀fọ́ pẹ́múlẹ̀. Ẹ̀kọrin. Ẹ̀fọ́ pẹ́múlẹ̀, ẹ̀fọ́ pẹ́múlẹ̀. Wọ́n gé mi lápò ewu. Apá mi náà màrè, apá mi náà màrè. You know say whether pẹ́múlẹ̀ or no pẹ́múlẹ̀, I'm taking you to the King's Palace. Tortoise just continue to sing the song. And everybody that heard, because he has such a beautiful song, a beautiful voice. You know how Tortoise used to talk? Like, you know, he talks from his nose. Ẹ̀fọ́ pẹ́múlẹ̀, pẹ́múlẹ̀ sí pẹ́múlẹ̀. Ẹ̀fọ́ pẹ́múlẹ̀, ẹ̀fọ́ pẹ́múlẹ̀. Wọ́n gé mi lápò ẹ̀wọ̀n. Apá mi náà màrè, apá mi náà màrè. Everybody that heard him started coming from their houses. Who is singing like that? And they said it is Mr. Tortoise. They didn't even know what he was singing about. They just enjoyed the song so much, they all started dancing and following him. Ẹ̀fọ́ pẹ́múlẹ̀, ẹ̀fọ́ pẹ́múlẹ̀. Ọ̀gẹ̀ mi lápò ẹ̀wọ̀n. Apá mi náà màrè, apá mi náà màrè. Till they got to the King's Palace. The king was now hearing the song because everybody now joined him in singing the song. The king said, "Who is singing this beautiful song? This is too good to be true." And the king came out dancing. Ẹ̀fọ́ pẹ́múlẹ̀. Oh yeah. Ẹ̀fọ́ pẹ́múlẹ̀, ẹ̀fọ́ pẹ́múlẹ̀. Ọ̀gẹ̀ mi lápò ẹ̀wọ̀n. Apá mi náà màrè, apá mi náà màrè. And the king danced and danced and danced. In fact, you know how when somebody is singing and you enjoy the song, what do? You bring out money and you start spraying the person. And the king started spraying Tortoise for singing so beautifully. And everybody was dancing and enjoying themselves. And then when the king was tired, he said, "Okay, this song is very nice, but I need to rest." So what is this song all about? The farmer was saying, "King, you have to listen to me. This man this tortoise is a thief."
Hello everyone, I'm here with the author of Olurounbi Promise, Princess Sherifat Akorede, in a Meet the Author interview. Hi, you're welcome to the segment, my sister.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Yeah, I would like to ask you some questions in order to just emphasize on your book. How long have you been writing this book?
Well, I've been writing since January. I've been writing since I was 16 years old. We were living in Saudi Arabia, and I used to, write out my thoughts. And I didn't know what I was doing at the time. So when I enrolled at the university, King Abdulaziz University, my program was English literature. My bachelor's was in English literature. And I remember one of my professors, her name is Mrs. Shalenda, she's an American, and she said, "Sharifa," so whenever she gave us, writing assignments, and she said, you really have writing in you. She said, "I'm going to make an author out of you." And that was like, I was flabbergasted, like, what is that? So I've been writing since 16, and I've written a lot of poetry, of poetry. I've written short stories, and I have 3 major novels that I've worked on. 2 of them are completed, but I have to edit and re-edit and do all of that. But so I've been writing for a long time.
Wow. Now, can you tell us what type of writing do you do?
Yeah, like I just said, I do write poetry. I write short stories. I've published a few things, not for money, but I used to publish my poetry in Nigerian newspapers and journals. I published some short stories, in Chicago. I used to live in Chicago, and so I've gotten some work published. But as far as Olurounbi is concerned, I wrote Olurounbi in 2011. That's when I wrote it, the first one. Yeah.
All right. Why did you write the story Olurounbi Promise? What prompted you to come up with that story?
Very good question. We grew up in Nigeria listening to short stories about Ijapa, all those African folklore, and especially in Lagos. I grew up in Lagos. I was born and brought up in Lagos. Whenever the NEPA takes power, everybody, we're in the pitch dark, and there isn't much to do in the evening. So our parents used to gather us together and tell us short stories. So even without the light being cut off, we grew up on a lot of these African stories. But I find out that even in Nigeria, the children of today, they do not know these African stories. We're losing our culture from that. So that's one of my intention, to bring back the culture. And this culture is religion neutral. It's for Christians, Muslims, whatever your religion is. It has nothing to do, so Yoruba culture has nothing to do with Orisha.
Okay.
Orisha is just is a religion. So we all, whatever your religion is, it is our heritage. You don't have to follow the Orisha religion before you can be a part of the Yoruba culture. So these are part of the cultures that I'm trying to bring back to the world. It's some kind of renaissance. So I've written a lot of Yoruba stories, and this is the first debut for this part of the project that I'm working on. So that's my intention, to share what our folk stories, our folk tales are, with the Western world, as well as the African world as well. So that's where I'm going with that.
Wow, that's interesting. I understand you are a princess. Is there any way you can tell us about your experience being a princess? What's it like? Because I know the Western world want to know. That's a princess. They just want to know, what is a princess in Nigeria? How is it?
So my experience is unique about being a princess. My family is from Ogbomoso, meaning in Nigeria, you claim your father's origin, not your mother's. So my father is a prince from Ogbomoso, and they is from one of the royal dynasties in Ogbomoso. So there are 5 ruling houses. So my father was a diplomat. He grew up in Lagos. He was born in Lagos as well, and raised us in Lagos. So I tell you, I did not know I was a princess until I was 9 years old. We were raised as just any other kid. Going to school, doing this, and running errands for everybody. So the first time I went to Ogbomoso, the one thing that I used to hear is that when you go to Ogbomoso and you land in Ogbomoso, anywhere there, even if you don't know the address of your home, just tell them you are going to Iliaremo. Anybody will take you there. And that used to fascinate me, like, really?
Wow.
Living in Lagos, like, if you get to a motor park and then you say, take me to Akorede's house, and they would know. So that was amazing to me. So one day I I was very adventurous as a kid, you know.
Wow.
I was a tomboy also. So I took myself to Ogbomoso. I was 12 years old, 11 or 12 years old.
Okay.
I was fascinated by that. I wanted to see what it is. You know, they say we're, you know, everybody knows our family. So when I got there, that's when I realized that I am a princess.
Wow.
So the treatment was amazing. All the children, I had like groupies. All the children were following me everywhere, and I would walk with my grandfather to the palace, and I saw the way that he was treated. Like, so he was the Babaoba. So that's another lofty title.
Okay.
And I went with him to the palace, and that was my first experience to enter any palace. And I was introduced to the current king, and he's still living, about and that, you know, I'm the daughter of a Muritala, you know, who is a diplomat at the time. So I was, you know, shocked. And so what happened to me in Ogbomoso is that they were taking care of me. Everybody, you know, I was not washing my own clothes anymore. They fed me, they, you know, attended to me. So that was like, yeah, that was so interesting. I'm like, oh, really? So that's when I realized I was, and so, but what the lesson that I learned from there is that they did tell us, and they told me that, you know, it's your birthright and you have to claim it. Not that you have to be arrogant and put it, you know, put up and, you know, you don't do that, but you have to know it's your birthright. And that's when I, you know, realized that I'm a princess. And however, in Lagos, we're raised like any other kid. And I remember my father always telling us that you have to earn the name. Even though it's your birthright, you have to earn it by being a good person, accomplished person. You have to work hard to become something in your life. So I took that from him.
Okay, thank you, my sister. And in a nutshell, can you tell us about the book Olurounbi Promise?
Okay, good. Yeah, so this particular story, it touches me because you know, like I said, we heard the story growing up, and I always wondered what happened that. So the story is about a mother who sacrificed her daughter, her only child, who sacrificed her to the Iroko tree. And I always, it's very intriguing to me that why would that happen? So that's why I went with that story. I, you know, did a lot of research. I'm exploring and examining what could be going on in her mind as a mother to sacrifice her child. So there's a lot in that book that has come out that, you know, shows a lot about African culture as far as, you know, women who were late in having children or who were late in getting married, and a lot of, you know, the challenges that women go through, you know, in the society. So it's an expose of the culture, the good and the not so good aspects of the culture. That's what's it's in the book. It's you know, I hope people will really enjoy it as much as I am enjoying, you know, writing it.
Wow, that must be an interesting book. Yeah, can you tell us where we can get this book? Because I know my audience will be trying to get the book, and I've gotten a lot of phone calls about the book. So can you please tell the audience where the book can be purchased, please?
Thank you. I have a website. I've developed a website, and it's my name, www.princesssherifatakorede.com. So from that, again, it's www.princesssherifatakorede.com. You know, there's a link to how you can order it, and it's going to be in all the major bookstores. You know, it's going to be on Amazon, on Barnes and Nobles, and all those, you know, places where you can get it. There'll be many, many places, and African stores. You know, we're working on talking to African stores who can, you know, be distribution points. And we're going to be doing book signing, and book signing in religious places, faith-based places, mosques, churches, and other public places.
Can you tell us how much the book costs, please?
Yeah, so even though we have illustrations in it, it's a lot of, very good things in there. It's only $13.99.
$13.99 is available at princesssherifatakorede.com. Please go and get your copy, and let's support the Yoruba heritage.
Olúkálùkù jẹ́jẹ́ ewúrẹ́, ewúrẹ́, ewúrẹ́. Olúkálùkù jẹ́jẹ́ àgùntàn, àgùntàn bọ̀lọ́jọ́. Olúròǹbí jẹ́jẹ́ ọmọ rẹ̀ àkọ́bí epo. Olúròǹbí yóò jọyìnjọ́, ìrókò jọyìnjọ́. Olúkálùkù jẹ́jẹ́ ewúrẹ́, ewúrẹ́, ewúrẹ́. Olúkálùkù jẹ́jẹ́ àgùntàn, àgùntàn bọ̀lọ́jọ́. Olúròǹbí jẹ́jẹ́ ọmọ rẹ̀ àkọ́bí epo. Olúròǹbí yóò jọyìnjọ́, ìrókò jọyìnjọ́.